Hi, I'm Mitra Sorrells in the PhocusWire studio at Phocuswright Europe, and I am joined by Cesc Vilanova. He is an independent consultant with a deep background in travel and AI. And Riky Vittoria, he is currently head of AI at Amex GBT. Do I have that right?
Yeah, maybe Princess of AI or something like that.
Okay.
They're still deciding on what is the actual title. They will make an announcement soon, but something like that.
Fair enough. So let me just give a little bit of both of your backgrounds, because it's interesting in the context of what we're talking about today, certainly. So Cesc, in 2014, you co-founded SAM, an AI-powered virtual travel assistant that was then acquired by Flight Centre Travel Group in 2018. Riky, you co-founded 30 Seconds to Fly in 2015, an AI-powered booking engine for corporate travel, acquired by Amex GBT in 2020, and you're still there working with that. So, you know, both of you have been in this world of AI chat and virtual assistants long before it became the cool thing that now everybody's talking about, right?
Pioneers.
Yeah. So I guess I have to start by asking, is generative AI worth the hype that it's getting? Let's start with you, Cesc.
We were joking now with Riky that we started building chatbots when actually it wasn't possible. Right? We were working on these things for years. We were trying different things, and more often than not, you would get this, sorry, I didn't understand your request situation.
Yeah.
Classic.
So for us, and we were chatting about this before, when we are seeing what is happening now and playing around with the technologies that are appearing, it's like magic, right? It's like what we were dreaming about building is now suddenly possible. So it's incredibly exciting.
You're far ahead of your time, I guess.
No, sometimes you had maybe $1 million spent between linguistic and technology to train a transformer that then has 60% accuracy. And now in 2 hours, you build something that has the same accuracy or higher. So it's a revolution.
Yeah. So I guess, then back to the original question, like, is this really this game-changing opportunity that everybody seems to be saying it is, or is some of that just the hype and that's going to die down and then, we'll really start to dig into the impact? I mean,
I think, I don't know where we are in the S curve.
Yeah.
There will be a plateau, but we don't know exactly when this happens. So we don't know if we're at the beginning or at the end. But even if we're at the end, this is going to change the whole world completely. Like enterprise will start having 3x productivities, like these LLMs is large language models.
Yes.
They will go into every applications. They will make employees triple productive, like any information that you need, private or public, you will be able to access. And you will just become like a colleague.
Yeah.
And it will become also like a very, very, how do I say, real colleague. Because if you pair generative AI for speech with the generative AI for video and the one for reasoning with the LLMs, you imagine that you have on Zoom a person and that you don't know if it is an AI or a person. It will really behave like a normal human, and it will sound very real, and it will be very helpful. It's going to change everything.
It's a little, that's a little scary too. But
very scary.
Yeah, I mean, do you see it that way? Do you really think it's going to have
I completely agree. I think that the potential, even if we just stayed with GPT-4, which is the current model that most people can use now to build applications, the possibilities are amazing. But I think that one of just what Riky was mentioning, these models are not only expanding what is possible, they are making it much easier to try new things.
Yeah.
So I think that what also changed recently is that the opportunity cost is much bigger, right? Now you can try new ideas very quickly.
Yeah.
You can build new prototypes. You don't need to release them publicly from day one. You can just try them with 100 clients, see what happens, and measure how those products are improving or not your business. So I don't know when the end state is going to be, how powerful this will become, but I think that companies cannot afford not testing with some pilots.
And do you see, when we think specifically of travel, do you see this as really driving like transformational business opportunities and revenue opportunities? Because ultimately that's kind of what everybody's going to be wondering. Like, yes, it's cool that I can do this with Expedia's use of ChatGPT or, these different plugins, but what is it? How does that translate then potentially to the business?
You understand me?
Many different dimensions. So on, let's say, OTAs or TMCs that have operations, now we can have agents being double faster. So
Yeah.
it will change a lot the productivity of agents, the cost base. And also it will change the nature of customer service, because now agents can focus on delivering a nice customer experience and less about fixing that complete error or
Right.
fixing that exchange. So a lot of the tedious tasks that can be done by AI, and agents can be focusing on delivering a good experience. But this is just an example. It can go in any other way.
Right.
Like personalization of travel for OTAs. You can generate a nice itinerary out of nothing. You don't need any more a team of people to figure out what is the best restaurant or the best
Right.
cruise or whatever. Like the data are all there. These LLM models have digested the internet, so
Right.
they know it all. They know it. They reason with you. They can generate everything you need, and so it's going to be very, very transformative. And just to mention two, but
Yeah.
we can go the whole day.
I mean, I also, that makes me think how this potentially changes like SEO and some of the advertising and strategies and things. When you think about Google search and surfacing results.
Yeah, one of the things that these models are letting us do is generate content, right? This involves images, but also text. Google has already said that they are not going to punish content created by AI as long as the quality of the content is good enough, right? And we have been experimenting with some companies about creating content using LLMs in a way that improves SEO, right? So
Yeah.
Of course, what is happening is that more and more companies can leverage these techniques. So you will still need to create very good content that is better than the others, right? So it's not, I guess, a magic bullet that you can use. But yeah, I would say that generating content is the obvious first quick win that companies are already doing. Marketing teams are using these kind of tools to generate tons of variations for ads and then measure how they work. The second one, I agree with you, is the customer service piece. This is big, and this is one of typically the biggest cost of travel companies. So whatever that you can do to make these people more productive, it's going to have a positive impact in the bottom line. I think that the third one is automation, which is using AI to reduce the friction that, now processes that take weeks can take days.
Yeah.
That means that you can do much more. And I think that the final one will be the creation of new experiences that are AI first. So maybe things that we cannot imagine today that will be able to be built with AI that, involve different UIs and different ways of interacting. I think that people are already working on this, but maybe we haven't seen any example of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Riky, can you give us any insight into how Amex GBT is looking at using this technology?
Well, we always advocate for copilot technologies like this. It's been in 30 seconds to fly, and then in Amex GBT after the acquisition. So we want to empower the agent to be more productive and offload tasks that are, again, more tedious and not propedeutic to create a great customer service. So all the technology that we built is in this copilot scenario in which we have the machine enhancing the human to do a better job together. And we can just do things faster than what we could do before with generative AI, because the intelligence has been leapfrogged.
Yeah.
But we need to be careful of all the data and privacy concerns. So a lot of the work that has been done so far was just to make sure that we have private tenants, that the data stays inside GBT. Nothing can be used by other companies to train over our data.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of foundational work to be done on that.
Yeah, that was actually going to be one of my next questions. Certainly we can't have a discussion about generative AI without talking about some of the fear and some of the concerns about data and privacy and all of that. How critical is that?
I think that, people that have worked in the business context agree that this is essential. And this is why all these players that are building models are very aware of this. If they want to sell GPT-4 to big corporations, they will need to fix these problems.
Yeah.
And there are tons of companies working on fixing this, and Microsoft is already working to fix this. So yeah, the technology was deployed very quickly. I guess that's the nature of OpenAI. Sam Altman used to work in the startup world all his life. So they deployed it, and then they were aware that some things would create some friction. but there are tons of companies working to fix this problem. I think it's a fixable problem.
Yeah, there are many risks. I would say all the way to the existential risk, like AI is taking over and it's going to start generating code, executing code, hack into the Pentagon, and bye-bye everybody. There is that risk. I think many companies are actually working on that to align human values to AI values, and hopefully they will be successful. Then we have a macroeconomic risk in which the AI will displace so many jobs and does not create the same job at the same rate. So that's a problem the government will have to deal with. But I believe in the end, even if there is a big displacement curve, still governments will adapt because we cannot leave so many people behind, and we will have some redistribution of capital. So I think that also is going to be taken care of. Then we have a risk of perceived reality. Like now we have AIs that can build new narratives, can build images, can build videos, and they look very real. So in which kind of reality are we living? Something that is real or something that the AI has created for us? Right. Or maybe somebody has given a little input and this generated something different. We saw this with Cambridge Analytica, right? You can steer people towards something that is not real. So imagine now with these tools what we can do. And I would say the last risk, which is the most serious, is the meaning crisis. Because let's say these AI start to replace a lot of jobs. And in all categories, from lawyers to accountants to software developers are the ones that first will lose their job. It's crazy. We never thought about that.
Yeah.
So all these people work for 20 years. They studied a lot, and all of a sudden, are like, what am I doing in this society? What am I contributing?
Yeah.
So that's I think the scariest part, because we need to make sure that we give meaning to people. We give them a purpose, we make sure that we integrate them all into society. Otherwise, it will become too scary. People go crazy. So working a lot actually on the last part to build foundations, make sure that we build wise AIs that can train us back to be wiser, more ethical, with purpose. We need to balance the equation.
It's just a fascinating space. And I think just in the next, I can't even imagine, with everything that's developed since the start of this year, with all of this, when kind of nobody was really talking about it yet, to now, so the next 12 months is going to be interesting. Before we wrap up, I'm just curious, final little bit of advice for people at the travel companies, folks that may be watching this and things. What would your advice be to them about this?
To me, very simple, test the waters. Yeah. Small, controlled pilots focused on clear business problems that you are trying to solve, and measure how it works. Don't try to focus on the big picture, maybe too much. Just make progress by learning on the field.
Okay.
I agree with Cesc, and I would add, start with a large model like a GPT-4 or an Anthropic and see how things work, and then after that optimize for cost, optimize for latency or efficiency. Because the biggest model can go, how do I say, not can go a long way, but you might get trapped into the desire of optimization. In the end, you don't deliver the value. So don't care about cost at the beginning. Go with the big models. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. All right. Well, Cesc and Riky, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Sure.
Thank you.